World Boss, Relics to Hunt, Secret Achievements. The rest of Ruhnuk awaits, and we brought on Cal from Today and Tor to talk about it. That and more on this episode of the SWTOR Escape podcast from newoverlords.com. Our broadcast astromech today is EPC 457. And co-hosting this thing with me here is Seema. Hello there, Seema. How is it going?
It's going slow, but it's going well. We're getting a late start tonight. We wanted to be right on time too. Yeah, but what have I been doing this week? So I actually did go on the PTS and do some PvP. Corley and I got in a war zone. I don't know which war zone it was, but we did a thing. And
it was Alderaan. It was the war zone that they've been testing most of the week.
Okay. I will trust you on that. It went really well. We didn't win, but it didn't take forever, so that was good. MFN this week we did a sort of normal week of world bosses and rampages, so we're still collecting. We did also. I've already forgot the names of all the weekly targets, but the one where you kill elites. Republic elites around their bases. We did that on Ilum, I think. And then we just came out of our ops night where we had just a fun night of running around doing story mode ops because we were down a person.
Yeah.
And we were kind of surprised how fast the story mode ones actually went.
Yeah. we were doing it so fast, cool. The mechanics were getting confusing themselves.
Yeah, it's like when we were on the two tanks and explosive conflict. Yeah,
it was 7 manning the two tanks in explosive conflict and doing it so fast that how the ads come out on the side, we would kill the ads and literally 3 seconds later another group of ads would have to pop out. They're like more ads. Here's the ads again. Okay, more ads. So.
But and we're going to talk about this in detail with our guests, but I did spend some time on Ruhnuk and did some dailies, and also I got a start on the Relic quest. I did the whole first part of it.
Okay. We're definitely going to talk about that.
I started the second part. By that I mean I accepted the mission. I haven't actually done anything yet. But yeah, so we're going to talk about that later. And I will stop talking now because we have a guest tonight.
We do have a guest. We have a guest who is Cal from Today and Tor, who has been on the show before, but is here tonight. Cal, how are you doing and what have you been up to?
I'm doing pretty good, thanks for asking. Recently I've just been cruising the PvP pass on a few other servers. I finished on my main, so I'm happy to be taking a break from that.
Interesting. So you're going to other servers and doing the PvP track?
Yeah, I'm doing it on SWTOR and Malgus, just so I can buy some other rewards to take back with me to Starforge.
Interesting. And are you going to complete it on those as well? I mean, are you doing that much PvP?
Because I'm getting the pass to level 25, but I don't think I have the willpower to do all the achievements.
That's crazy. I mean, even just completing the pass, completing the season is a lot on one server. So Cal is PvPing.
Yes. And what are the rewards that you wanted to get from the other servers, from the reward track, from the PvP track?
Oh, yeah, so it was a lot of the replica rewards. I did see the armor set for Season 1, and it looked okay, but I decided against it. And so on Darth Malgus, I'm going for a Furious armor set, and on SWTOR, I'm going for the Resourceful Renegade armor set.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Furious.
Awesome.
That's another set that I would not mind having. It's very cool. Anything else besides PvPing for 17 hours a day?
No, I've just been balancing that work life and my upload schedule to my own site, which has been a bit hectic lately. I've been overhauling and trying to fix broken plugins, and it's been going a lot slower than I anticipated.
Well, we're definitely going to take a look at that later because that's the focus of, you've got some great guides up there for this stuff on Ruhnuk, and it's looking really good. I gotta say, your site's looking great. So I've got it here up here on the screen. Yeah, looks awesome. So
Yeah, it
we'll
does.
walk people through the guide that you have. A lot of great content creators out there. There's a few guides. I mean, of course, Teresa's got some great guides. But this is really well done. I like how you did the arrows pointing where to go, and when you're doing the Datacron, which I have not finished, but I did finish all the Relic Hunt stuff. So yeah, I guess we're on to me. What I've been doing. Yes, so I finished the Relic Hunt this week. Had fun with our group on MFN. We're pulling some people through the rest of Galactic Seasons as it wraps up. We got about 20 days left. Also, had fun in our ops night, as Seema said. We cruising through, blasting through just story modes because we were down a person. We weren't going to go do R4, so we just figured, yeah, easy path. We'll take the quick and easy path to the dark side and get ourselves some OP1 catalysts. On Wednesday night, though, it was awesome. So what we wanted to do was for a bunch of the people that were in our guild that did not get on the PTS last Friday, was it last Friday? The Friday before that, when they had the PvP event for the devs to come on there, and there was a lot of PvP queues popping. During the week, it's been a little bit slower. Happens once in a while, but it's been slower. So we wanted to make sure that we got on there enough. Intisar brought some of their crew on there. There were some other people that heard things were going on, and we got some. So this was last night. We got some queues popping, and everybody who needed it, who was on from our guild, and a bunch of people from some other places as well, all got on and got a war zone done. You only need to finish one war zone, but now we're transitioning into news. You better get it done today or tomorrow. By the sound of my voice, the PTS is closing on Friday the 17th at 5 p.m. Central. I don't know if it's the end of PTS for 7.2.1, because it's phrased a little bit weirdly. Jackie says this phase of the PTS, so they could have another PTS, but she said it's done, and it may be done completely, and they may be trending towards release. Now, obviously, we need to wait for the season. We'll talk about that in a second. All right. Anything else I've been doing? No, that's all I've been doing, except also then complaining about being capped on daily resource matrices. I don't have anything good to spend my daily resource matrices on. I could go on alts and get a bunch of gear for alts, and maybe that's what I'll end up doing, but I've got a couple nice sets. I got a tanking set, and I got a DPS set, and I share it around. So I don't really want a bunch of extra gear. I can use. Now I'm gonna start trending towards capping on OP1 catalysts. I won't need those anymore, and the Warzone currency I don't need anymore. Tech frags and conquest accommodations you can always use and convert those into OEMs and RPMs, and sell those or use them to craft high-end augments. But yeah, the other ones I'm gonna start to not have much I can do with them anymore. So we'll see how that goes and see what I'm gonna do with it. Sorry, I was messing around here with my camera scenes. I'm watching this stream and not watching my live camera and wondering why there's a delay when I'm trying to switch the camera view. Let's talk about the news.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
Okay, so first up on the news, as we said, the PTS testing does continue, but not for long. I thought that it would go on for longer. In fact, I'm surprised that it's shutting down already, and I take that as a good sign. So this post went up from Jackie. They are closing on Friday the 17th at 5 p.m. Central. This phase of the PTS will be closing. She does kind of treat it as final. She says, as a heads up, the Opal Volatile amount can only be earned during this phase of the PTS, so you will no longer have the opportunity to earn the reward after the Friday deadline. So I don't know. There still could be another phase of the PTS for 7. Why do I keep forgetting the number? 7.2.1? Yeah, it's 7.2.1, right? Yeah. 7.2.1, not 7.1.2. 7.2.12.72. The next update. The fact that the PTS is going down, I always see that as a positive thing. I'm always happy to see that happen, because as soon as it happens, it means they still have a bunch of work to do. And in fact, they've got, a company like BioWare has to go through a lot. Like, there's marketing processes, there's multiple iterations through testing that still happens after the PTS closes and they make any final changes. There's language localization. So there's work to do, but they could be tying a bow on things to some degree. We have our contest running in our Discord, newoverlords.com/Discord. And that contest, you get one shot to pick a date. And as soon as BioWare hints at or announces the date for when the expansion is going to drop, we're closing that. So no guesses after that kind of thing goes out will count. And then of the people that get the closest, that pick the right date or the closest date, we're going to do a drawing, and I think we're going to do at least a nice 30-day subscription code, if nothing else. But my point in mentioning that again is, if you want to be part of that, with them closing down the PTS, they could be getting close to some sort of announcement, and I would hope that they are. I think that would be really cool. Definitely not guaranteed, but might be happening sooner than we think. So this, just remember, if you do want that Opal Volptilla, you have one more shot on Friday the 17th at 1:30 p.m. where you'll be guaranteed some queues popping. The devs are going to get on there. That usually draws a crowd. There will be queues popping. You only need to get on the PTS and do one war zone to qualify. So if at all possible, get in there. I did see some people on the PTS earlier this evening that were trying to get some queues to pop. You do need at least 16 people on, and they were trying to find a couple more. So it could still be happening tonight, all afternoon tomorrow after 1:30 p.m. Central, up until the time the PTS goes down. There may also be queues popping. I would expect there's going to be some action. So that's that. What else we got going on then, even after the PTS closes, Seema? Hello? Did I?
She has
Oh,
muted her
you are
microphone.
muted. You are muted, Seema. Muted. There we go.
I was talking away, and I was so interesting too.
I can imagine. I in my head, it was spellbinding.
Yes. Who knows why I muted myself? I think I must have, I don't know, was moving furniture over here or something. Well, I was saying that the various feedback threads are still going to be open. So that includes the feedback on the inflation measures, the feedback on war zones. Is that war zone medal updates?
Yeah. How many
Okay.
how many medals you're getting per war zone is useful to progressing the PvP track and doing some other things.
And also your, oh, go ahead.
Yep. So
and then your experience with the 64-bit client.
Yes. Yeah. How are those threads going? See, have you looked at them at all?
I did, not this week, but I have done before. I think most of them are doing okay. Just to credit the economy feedback one has got some.
Yeah, that's the only one that's extra
one to
rocky
two clunkers in it
right now, or more. For some reason,
or more.
For some reason, people are really down on that, and I think there's some valid feedback, and I think there's some opportunity for them to tweak it and tune it. I did, and someone made the point and commented. They left leave a comment down below. Blah blah blah. Well, somebody actually did on our last podcast video on when you start a new character. It is a little bit rough. It's even rough if you're a Tres Comas Club member and you start a brand new character. And this is what I did. So I started a brand new character, and you can't get to your stronghold. You have to pay 3,000 credits to get to your stronghold. You don't have 3,000 credits. Maybe you could, the only thing I thought is maybe you could mail your new character some credits so that they could, they could get to the stronghold and they can get what they can get.
But they proposed a change for that.
Did
thought.
they?
Right, where you won't have to pay to go to your where did I see this? Where you won't have to pay to go to your stronghold.
Right. So Eric did do some clarifications. Yeah, I think you're right. I think he said it's when you shouldn't have to pay to go to your stronghold and come back to where you were. But if you're going to your stronghold and then you're going somewhere else, you should have to pay the travel cost. Like if you're on
Right.
Hutta and you go to your stronghold and you come back to Hutta, you're not actually traveling. If you're on Hutta and you go to your stronghold and then you exit to Tatooine because it's your Tatooine stronghold, well, then you're traveling. You should incur the travel cost.
Right.
My idea here was that all of these costs, travel costs, credit, repair costs, all of them should scale by level. And, for the first 10 levels, travel cost, quick travel cost would be 0.
Right.
And then it would go up and up and up. And if you're going to do it that way, then I would even take the level 80 costs and I would increase them and maybe even double them. So to compensate for the credits that they needed to balance and take out of the lower levels, at the higher levels, the ability to get credits is astronomical. I mean, you just run CZ 198 once and you'll end up with enough credits to repair and travel for a week. And if you're not doing anything, then you don't need credits. If you are traveling, you're traveling to go do something, you get credits all over the place in this game. So it needs to be balanced. So I think that's a way for that to go. And maybe not double, but maybe just increase a little bit, again, to compensate for the credits you'd be taking away. But then anyone brand new, anyone new to the game, anyone that's just in their first 20 levels of their first character on the servers, tons of these comments in the threads are saying, oh, you're going to kill new characters, you're going to kill new players who are coming to the servers. I've never seen so many people so concerned about brand new players, because usually no one is concerned about brand new players. BioWare catering to new players. You don't even care about us old players anymore, blah, 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 blah. Well, everybody's suddenly white knighting for the brand new player who's never played SWTOR before. I appreciate the support for that crowd, but seems like people are taking whatever position they can to come down hard on the development team and really saying some mean things. So stop it. Stop saying mean things. Don't be mean.
Words to live by.
Feedback and ideas like what I just proposed. Put your ideas out there. Hey, I don't mind paying more when I'm a higher level, but it would feel better if I didn't have to pay at all or paid a lot less when I was at lower level. That's kind of scaling would really work for me. That is the kind of feedback of how it feels and what it's like when you roll a new character that they can use and that they like. So that's cool. And by that's cool, I mean, I'm cool for coming up with that idea.
Well, I have to say, whenever I read, and this is not just in the SWTOR forums, it's in everywhere. It's Reddit, it's like comments on blogs and everything else. Whenever I read someone's comment that's not experiential, like they're not saying this is how I experience this, they're saying, oh, this is going to have this effect on other people, I just move on.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, I can speculate as well as they can.
Right. Exactly. And right. And
So nobody's reading you is what I'm saying. If you're saying that, yeah. Except for Max, apparently.
And any comment that's just like, dumbest idea ever, don't you even play this game? I skip those ones too. First, I read them out loud in my comic book guy voice. Dumbest idea ever.
I mean, actually, comments like that, the effect they have on me, which is unfortunate, is that I just slow down reading the forums at all because those make me feel
I go
bad.
away because this is not a place I want to be.
Yeah.
I agree. No, it's bad. It's bad, and you should feel bad. You've made us all. You made that little microcosm of a world a worse place. So good job. Good job. Somebody was mean to me on Reddit today, and I got all sad about that. I shouldn't do that.
That would upset me too.
Yeah, they weren't that mean, but anyways, guild and community news. We have a guild and we have a community. Really appreciate everybody that participates. Really good job by our PvP team. Stask, again, shout out. Machete, who helps out with that Wednesday night. Just them doing the Wednesday and Friday stuff is really fun, and they pulled some more people in there like Quinn. And then Stask taking the extra effort to get the guild through the achievement on the PTS on Wednesday. That was really cool of him and really well organized, and we got a lot of people in. So I'm happy. I'm happy we've got those guys in helping us out. On our Discord in New Overlords, as I said, we still have that little contest running. We tend to run those kind of contests every once in a while. Jump in there if you want to be part of that. There's plenty of opportunity to get in on that drawing. And if you get close to the date, you could get a 30-day subcode. I think that's what we're setting aside at this point. And maybe something else. Maybe I'll throw something in there sweet in the pot. How about you, Cal? Any news that you want to do a shout out? And I'll pop your site up here of stuff you've got published lately or stuff that's coming soon that you want to mention in news?
Um, all I can really speak about right now is if you're looking forward to any of the Galactic Seasons 4 or the PvP Seasons 2 rewards, I just put something up for that. I've also put up a separate page for the 721 cartel market items. I have nothing else I can speak about right now. I am working on a few more things, but it might be several weeks before you see those.
Like and subscribe, folks. Like and subscribe. Get on the mailing list. Follow on Twitter at Today in Tor. So this is a good page for this PvP rewards as well. So this is the armor set I keep talking about. I like it. Shadow Hand and Shade Veil are the two. This might get me into that PvP track for PvP Season 2. It may very well. And as I said, I saw Intisar wearing it live on the PTS, and he had put an extra dye into it, and it dyed up really well. It just did the highlight. I like sort of kept the gray, but did the highlights in these and sort of like in the right areas, so the dye came through, but it was subtle. But it changed it significantly. It really gave it a nice new look. I'm very pleased with that armor set. I think it's one of the best ones they've done in a long time. Shredder. It does look like Shredder. But in a good way. In a good way. All right. Let's get back to Ruhnuk.
Power will be yours if you are willing to burn.
One other thing we sort of glossed over in the news, didn't gloss over, but didn't bring up, but it will be news by tomorrow if people hadn't seen it already, is the login servers were down for some reason tonight. In fact, we couldn't log on at this beginning of the show. I don't know if we can now. I'm not going to bother to try it because I have video of me doing all the stuff that we're going to be talking about. So that will hold us over for our discussion tonight. But yeah, so there's a piece of news for you. The login servers were having some problems tonight. Four things that we didn't get to talk about yet that we'd sort of saved. So we do the story, and stories on Ruhnuk and around Ruhnuk. It's really cool. Significant content. Then, which we sort of didn't know, and you sort of jump on, you do your first run through, the stuff with Lane afterwards, which we did 2 weeks ago on the show. Go back and listen to that if you're interested. That is significant content. Again, it's story. There's a whole story going on, and it's a fun, significant, it's tied in. It's part of sort of like the cleanup that's going on Ruhnuk. It introduces you to all of the dailies, and that's why you're doing it for the dailies and weeklies. But what it also does is it gets a little side story going on that I think is going to be a fun thing for us to come back to. And that deals with the droids that the Haringir, that the Haringir were messing around with and ruining on Ruhnuk, and that made Lane really mad. When you're all done with that, then there's still more stuff, and it's significant stuff again. So there's the world boss, and I know we've mentioned the world boss before. We'll show you it here. I've got the part in the video where I'm going down into the world boss tunnel, but we've done the world boss a few times. It is a cool fine world boss. It's not very difficult, but I think that's kind of fine. And in fact, Cal, you soloed the world boss, didn't you? Why don't you describe that? How easy or hard is it to solo? What does it take? What should people think
Yeah,
about
what
if they
class
want
were
to
you
solo it?
on? Yeah.
Yeah, so the world boss is actually incredibly easy to solo, but it is also incredibly time consuming. I played on a lightning sork, and my companion was a healer. I was using Phalanx at the time, who was about influence level 30, so not even at full power. And the boss itself does not actually hurt you that much at all. It just takes a long time. It took me about half an hour. I got through about 3 or 4 heroic moments.
Oh, wow.
And the one thing that you need to watch out for is at certain points during the fight, the boss will drop these red circles all over the arena.
Yep.
It's not so much a problem for you because it'll only do about 10% of your hit points, 15% of your hit points, but 2 or 3 landing on a companion will instantly kill them. So you
Mhm.
just have to make sure you set your companion to passive so that they walk out of them
Yeah.
and then
Drag
turn them
them to
back
you.
onto active and you'll be fine.
Yeah, that's for people that are used to soloing hard things with their companions. That and here let me try to get you sort of can't see it. It's buried under because I'm on the video here, but the button on your companion's bar that's got the little green marker underneath it, it's the second ability over, is the button that you can click to make them go passive or active. You can keybind that as well. When you pop your companion into passive, it's on the global cooldown. So popping it to passive and then right back to active again, it's on the global cooldown. So if you do it too quick, it won't be back to active and they will not heal you for the rest of the fight and you will die. I know that from experience. But clicking that to passive will then cause the companion just to stop what they're doing and run up and just stand beside you wherever you are. So that's a really useful tool for sort of micromanagement of your companion.
They
You
have to be in range, though. Just a note.
yeah, they have to be they can't be like they can't be lost somewhere else on the other side of the map.
Right.
Um,
Right.
But like on a fight like this, here's the world boss down here. If the Shay Vizsla, who I would probably be using for this fight, she's ranged, she might be standing out here in the middle. I'll be on the other side of the boss, tanking the boss. All the red circles start to come down. If I click her into passive, she'll run over and stand next to me. And then I
Yeah.
can click her, again, remember to click them back to active or you don't get any more heals. And you could sort of do that dance and flip them back and forth that way.
I have that the key bound to my wheel on my mouse. So like when I roll it towards me, it brings my companion back. When I roll it away from me, it tells them to attack.
That's a
So
great.
it's pretty intuitive for me, so I don't have any trouble remembering. I mean, doing it. But some people use their mouse wheel for other useful things. But also, just a note too, since I usually am running around in my healing spec, I can res her at least once. And her being Shay, because I run around with Shay a lot too.
Right.
Um, it's it's sometimes just the harbinger of the end anyway.
Right.
But yeah,
But might as well. I mean, you've got that
yeah,
ability. You
yeah.
can res them. Heroic moment, as Cal just mentioned. Heroic moment's got a long cooldown. It's got a 5-minute cooldown, but if the fight's gonna last 25 minutes, 30 minutes. Use it. Use it on every cooldown. Use it on all the hard fights. What it does is it buffs your damage. It protects you from damage a little bit for you and your companion. And then the other ability that I have down on my bar here next to heroic moment, the purple one is called unity. And that's different if you're dark side versus light side. And you have to have achieved that in your progression so far. But unity will spread the damage between you and your companion, again, on a long cooldown. But that can be useful for keeping you both alive while your companion's like healing you. If your companion happens to be standing in something, you can sort of spread that damage out. So yeah, healing moment does. Yeah, it does. It puts a healing tick on you. It's like 2% of your health every 5 seconds or something like that. I can't hover over it right now to tell you, but it heals you then throughout the duration of how it's going. And I think it does last about 2 minutes. So if you keep popping it every 5 minutes, as Zen suggests in the chat room, that's about 40% of the fight that you could have heroic moment running, which is significant. So do it for any of those kinds of fights, or any of where you're doing like the heroic 2s or heroic 4s. You got a big boss, that you're soloing. Remember to use your heroic moment. In fact, Zen in the chat room is the one without fail that reminds people to use their heroic moment. And I really appreciate it. And then I've taken that to heart, and now I do it every chance I can get. Because why
Yeah.
not? Oh, the other really
Yeah.
fun thing about heroic moment, it gives you the extra action bar, and for every class story that you've completed, you get an iconic ability from that class story that gets added to that extra action bar. So if you want like the smuggler or orbital strike flyby, you get
Oh,
that. It's
I thought you were
on.
going right to the
Oh,
dirty kick.
dirty kick, kicking in the nads. Well, you can kick them in the nads, and you can also force choke. So you pop that, and suddenly my Merc can force choke a fool, and that's pretty fun. Not all of those are necessarily worth using in a hard fight, but orbital strike really can be worth using, especially if you're doing a fight like a heroic fight where there's a bunch of ads. You drop down an orbital strike and then do your own AoEs, and you can really blast a bunch of damage out there. So use it. It's a cool one. Okay, so that's the world boss. It's fun to get in there and do it. The more people you bring, obviously, the faster it would go. It's not difficult to coordinate. You don't need to explain a lot of instructions. Just don't stand in the pools of lava that drop down. And when there's a cone coming out of the boss's butt, don't stand in that big cone. Relatively straightforward there. It's a good one. I'm glad they added that in. More interesting, and I'll introduce it, but then I think we want to hear a lot from you on this one, Cal, because you wrote up the guides, and I'll bring up your guide on it. Let's start with the Relic Hunt, because the Relic Hunt is actually a precursor to getting the Datacron done, in particular. But the Relic Hunt is interesting, and so my thoughts on it, my overview thoughts are, they did a good job on mission design for this. It's not your typical mission in that there's not a bunch of green triangles showing up for all the stages. So every once in a while they'll show you like a zone that you could go to, or they will have a green triangle to like where the quest objective is. But at least like half of the quest objectives across the 3 relics are, hey, go get this little piece of evidence and then try to figure it out. And there's no pointer pointing you where to go. You gotta just figure it out. Good luck. If you're not using a guide, it is hard. It is hard to figure this stuff out. You'll be wandering around for a while, but it's like an old school MMO puzzle that we don't really get a lot these days in any MMO, in any game. And you certainly don't get if you use the wikis and the guides and that kind of thing. So if you're interested in getting that kind of really, harder old school MMO puzzle experience, don't spoil it. Don't look at any guides, and maybe like don't close your eyes while we're talking about it right now. We're not gonna go through step by step and spoil it all, but it's fun to look at that way. Well, you probably should skip ahead because I'm going to show you some of Cal's guides. So Cal, how did you put your guide together? Did you solo just figure it all? How did you do it? How did you do this?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's
pretty
magic.
early on the PTS, when it first started, I went, oh, look at this one quest that isn't a daily. And then I opened it, and the warning said you need to use your head and use the clues. And I went, oh, this is an old school RPG quest.
Yeah,
I've been missing these from many games. Like the closest thing I get is like in RuneScape with those quests. It's a lot more similar.
right.
And I went, I'm pretty good at these sometimes. And then I said in General Chat of Fleet, hey, is anyone else doing this? And 2 or 3 people went, I'm completely stuck on the first stage.
Yeah.
And I went, okay, that's the challenge right there.
Yes.
And I just put my head through the wall, then through the next wall, then through the window, then through the next wall, then the next wall, until I got all the way to the end, and I think it took me about 7 hours.
Okay.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
And I only found out about it because I found the Datacron first by going in that little pathway, then up the stairs, then across a bridge of cacti.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to the end and I went, how do I get across that gap?
Yep.
And then I went back to the base and went, oh, I reckon I need to do these quests. There's 3 tables. There's probably going to be 3 quests.
Yeah. Well, you solved it then. You did it like you're supposed to. I got up to the first part where it's like, "Hey, I'm you find the little note and it says, "Hey, I'm hiding out in this little area. You got to come find me." And I went over and I was in the right area and I even guessed about where it was, but I went back and forth maybe for about about I think a good 90 seconds. And I didn't find the little path up. And then I was done. I was like, so then I switched over to, I said, Max ain't got time for this. And I looked up a guide. Only because I wanted to talk about it on the show. If this is the kind of thing that I would have set to the side and waited till I had some time and wanted to go through it because I appreciate it and I appreciate the work that they did here. And I like the design. As you said, there's 3 stages. Parts of it are really sort of obscure. You find this little note, or you get like an obscure clue that's only like partially written out, or it's like a note from one Mandalorian to his friend saying, "Hey, remember that place where we did that thing?" And they'll like drop in one keyword, and that sort of gives you a clue of where you're supposed to go and start searching. Some of it's that hard. Some of it gets quite a bit easier. It'll be like, okay, now I'm to the stage where I need to find these key cards or whatever. And you can look in some of the tunnels then and see like a telegraph on the map that says, hey, there's a quest target in this area. Still got to search the stuff down. There's even some glowing blue things that you'll be passing or finding in some of the tunnels that aren't what you're looking for. It seems like they lit some things up just to throw you off the track. That was kind of fun. I did find myself traversing a lot of like the heroic areas with a bunch of the bunch of the gold mobs, but back and forth multiple times, especially for the second relic. That got a little annoying. So, do you have a stealth character? Did you do it on stealth, Cal, or did you just fight through all that stuff?
So I did it 4 times.
Wow. Okay.
Oh.
My first character was the one that I learned it all on. That was a Juggernaut, and I realized how much I disliked that. My second character going through was an assassin, so I stealthed, and that was just to follow the exact path I did the first time to see if there was anything quicker. Then my third path through was a stealther again, and I took screenshots. And
Okay.
then I followed my own screenshots for step 4 when I made videos of all the achievements.
Got it.
And
Okay.
yeah, I wouldn't do it without a stealth character.
If at all possible, if you have a stealth character, yes, it's highly recommended. Because again, and here I'll even show it. Let me go back to the video here. You're going through. You'll see me going through like these tunnels here to get there. I had to go to this. I had to get to this console at some point. It's like, okay, now you gotta recover manifest data 2 out of 5. So here I am in these tunnels. I gotta like fight through all these guys. You gotta like some of them you have to kill because you have to get like a key card. Okay, and then there's the key card. You get 5 key cards. I had filled up with key cards, but like fighting. Here's another gold mob. There's the console, and this is 2 out of 5. So I have to fight through like 10 packs of trash to get to it. If you're stealth, you'll still have to kill some mobs, but this is the question that Seema and I had also, Cal. How many of these packs have mobs that will detect you even if you're stealthed? Is there a lot of that or not that much of that?
So that is a great question. One thing I've noticed that BioWare started on in a tendency after Kotet ended is that mobs will just start pulling you out of stealth, whether
Right.
that be in story flashpoints or the open world. It
Yeah.
got really annoying for me on Manan in the invasion zone, but I would walk through a group. They used to have like a little light bulb above their head,
Yep. Or little
like when they
probes that would
detected
be
you.
out, or yeah.
Yeah, like the probes are a skill from droids or some NPCs.
Yep.
But like sometimes I would walk around a mob and my character would just pop out of stealth like I'd clicked off the ability.
Yeah.
Randomly. Yeah,
Um,
or seems random. Yeah.
yeah, and I noticed this is pretty common on Ruhnuk with any of the gold enemies. You'll just be walking around or past them. It gets pretty bad in the tunnels.
Yeah.
Like every mob group will pop you out.
Okay. The trick there, and a lot of these mob types are, so the hidden chain are new, but a lot of the mob types that you'll also be encountering are the same ones that were in the Spirit of Vengeance. So if you've taken a stealth character through the Spirit of Vengeance, less of the dogs. The dogs definitely popped you out in Spirit of Vengeance, but some of the other Darmanda or whatever, each one of them had like one of the mob types in the packs seemed like it could see through stealth. So not all of them, but one of them. So you could still skirt around some groups if you were like staying away from, aggro radius away from that kind of mob. But a lot of times not. The trick you can still do on a stealth character that has the like one of the vanish abilities is it's easier to get away and then get out of combat. That it's much more difficult to do in these cramped tunnels on a DPS character. So my Merc was having trouble when I would try to like run through all the mobs and try to get around a corner and to try to get out of combat or just kill hopefully try to just kill a couple mobs that were still following me and ending up with like half of the zone and 50 mobs on top of me. If you're a stealth character, as long as you're out of line of sight, out of aggro range, and your companion, you probably need to drop your companion to passive so your companion is with you and out of combat and pops out of combat as well. You do that vanish, and you can drop aggro more reliably, but not every time, but more reliably. Here I am killing more. Here I go killing again, killing more mobs.
If you want to go through a lot of packs of mobs and you're depending on vanishing in the end, I would put my companion on passive for the whole.
Yeah, or dismiss them if you're
Or
planning on
dismiss 'em,
just trying to stealth and stay
Yeah.
out of combat as much
Yeah.
as can. Dismiss them until you're out of combat, or worst case, and I did this once or twice when I was going through those 2 relic quests. Run all the way through, run where you need to go, get in a spot that's relatively away from aggro range, and die. Die,
I mean,
res by
that
probe, and
that is
pop
a
right back
classic
up.
method of achieving quests that I used to read about
Yeah.
on Thoughtbot back in
Yes.
2008. So
It
yeah.
is a technique. It's a speed runner technique. So, there are the 3. So it described to us, Cal, because I didn't really get to use them very much. The one I used a lot, which was the rocket boost, but describe the 3 relics and what their abilities are. Have you played with them a bunch?
Oh yeah, of
Stim
course.
and what is it? Prototype missiles. So in order,
Yeah.
in order, it's what's this? It's the
bombs first.
missiles first.
Then the speed boost, then the jump pads.
Okay, so just describe each one of them then, because I didn't know exactly what they did. So what are the bombs? Because they weren't even popping up on my extra action bar. Do they not pop up until you get out
Oh
into the
no,
world?
they're automatic.
Okay.
So when you
Describe
complete
it
the
then.
first quest, the first relic quest, you'll get a buff on your tray for bombs, and if at any point in time you die on Ruhnuk or you leave the planet and come back even to a stronghold, you need to go and manually get these buffs again on that character.
Okay.
But the first buff is rockets. And how the rockets work is when you're in combat, like you start combat with a mob, say a group of enemies like some Darmanda, you'll be fighting them. Your character will automatically, on its own accord, the same way that guild buffs kind of activate, is your character will just shoot a rocket out and hit one of them. but
Oh,
it only triggers on standard trash. I do not believe it triggers on champions or elites or heroic style enemies.
got it. Okay. All right. So there's one.
Yeah, the second one is the speed boost. So you need to complete Relic Hunt number 2 to get the speed boost. You got to click it off the table to get it, and it essentially acts like your character has the guild perk Sprinter 1.
Okay.
I also think that it stacks with Sprinter. So if your guild has Sprinter and you're on Ruhnuk and you click that buff, you will run even faster.
Interesting. Okay.
And the
That's
third
good.
one is, of course, the necessary one for the Datacron. The other two aren't. And it's also probably the most helpful one in all of Ruhnuk, and it's the jump pad jetpack.
Yes.
So you need to complete the third quest to get the jump pad jetpack. And while you're running around anywhere on Ruhnuk, all over the planet, you will see these big white discs on the ground.
And here's one on my screen right now. It's
Yeah.
before you have the jump pack, it's just these round things. They're really recognizable. But I think they even like light up when you have the jump pack, and then the extra action button does pop up when you step on them.
Yeah. So the third Relic Hunt quest is way less of a mystery than the first two. The third one is a lot more of constructing the jetpack and then a very quick tutorial on how to use it.
Yeah.
But
All
you
right.
see
Right.
these
Right.
like gray white discs on the ground, you stand on top of them, your temporary ability bar pops up, the disc itself will get a little green energy beam. And then when you click your temporary ability bar, the game will transport you with a jetpack to a new location. And there's about 30 or 40 of them, maybe across the whole planet. And they're really good for cutting down time with backtracking when doing the dailies. But you don't really need them. But you do need them if you're going for the Datacron.
Interesting. I want to get used to using it and see if I can cut down my daily route, but by using it. That'll be interesting. Okay, here I am on this last phase. I just wanted to show off this part. You do have to do a part where you need to charge. So you assemble the jetpack, and then you need to charge it. And I had gone through this area a couple times. It's a bridge through an area with these big, giant. It's like a giant room. It's a big round room actually, and there's these giant pylons, and there's sort of like lightning sparking all along these pylons. 50 feet in the air and 50 feet down or 100 feet down, or further. It's almost sort of feels like sort of bottomless. It's hard to see down there. Really cool looking area. I was really impressed by it. And it turns out this is the place where you need to come and charge your jetpack, which made sense because there's all this lightning sparking electricity. I only dive into here because it did look so cool. I really like the area, and it really gave me a vibe of what's the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie on Get Your Ass to Mars? Quato, Start the Reactor, Free Mars. That movie. This looks like the reactor room at the end of the original Arnold
Total
Schwarzenegger
Recall?
Total Recall. Recall. Yes, Total Recall. This looks like the reactor room from Total Recall, or one of the reactor rooms. Obviously, the reactor ones at Total Recall were much bigger, but get your ass to Mars. Here I am using the jetpack. Now you can see what it looks like. Boom. Bloop.
Okay, so I understand how the jetpack is going to work, but I didn't quite catch what you're saying about the missiles. It they just fire themselves when you get close to a target that they are eligible for?
Yes, the missiles just kind of shoot themselves while you're in combat with a mob group, but only like standard mobs or trash. So you'll
Oh, I
be
see.
like, you can just be any class in the game, just fighting a group of mobs, say like 10 Darmander, and the missile, like, it might not even happen. You might kill them before it happens. It might try to shoot at a mob that's a champion, but it can't. I'm not sure of all the details. But very rarely, while running the buffs, I've noticed my character kind of shoots out what looks like a power tech, one of those missiles that power techs can use off the GCD.
Yeah.
and it'll just like shoot out of your back and hit one of the trash mobs and do maybe like 10% damage or something.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right.
It's
Sounds.
not really noticeable, but I mean, it is something.
Yeah, I mean, it's something. It is something. Yeah, you're right.
When I was at this area, there's a point within that whole phase where you need to go back up to that area that's up on the plateaus on the surface. And I took a couple screenshots when I was up here. I've just really like the design of, because you could like look up into the sky and see the nebula here. It looks so good. Great job, BioWare. In fact, I meant to tweet those out and to give them another shout out. Look at that. Isn't that cool? You're just like looking off, and the planet is
Yeah.
sort of like buried in a nebula.
It's like an
This,
updated Tatooine.
yeah.
Not the sky, but yeah.
And then and then this was the view I really liked, because it's the nebula in the background, but you're overlooking the canyon. You can see some of the trees coming up in the canyon. I just loved the framing of this. This is now one of my favorite wallpapers of
That
Ruhnuk.
is nice. Yeah.
Very, very cool. Okay, so as you just mentioned, Cal, we get the rocket pack, we get the jet boost. We've got all these little round things that we can now use, and it opens up the ability to go after the datacron. So why don't you just describe it in detail? Again, we're not doing a guide here, but I will pop up your. It's at the end of your your relic hunt guide. So it's the relic hunt and the datacron combined into one page if people are looking for it. So scroll down to the datacron part if you're done with the relic hunt, and you'll be able to get to that part with a video that Cal has done here too. So yeah, tell us in general what we're sort of going through here to get this datacron, and how hard would you actually say it is compared to like uh
The other Datacrons in the game.
yeah.
Um, honestly speaking, the hardest part is getting the 3 relic quests complete. The Datacron
Mm.
itself is really straightforward. I would say
Okay.
it's probably on tier of difficulty of the one Onderon Datacron, where you have to kind of go into a cave, Indiana Jones style, and then run back out,
Okay.
which is not that hard, nor is it easy.
Oh,
But you really just have to find the path and stick to it, because once you've jumped the single mandatory gap that requires a jetpack, there is a medical droid on the other side, so you can die or fail the rest of the jumps as you continue going for the Datacron. You will always respawn at that med droid, so you don't need the jetpack buff anymore.
okay.
Oh, okay.
And if you need it, if you are going to go with the guide, Cal has some really nice diagrams and drawings with arrows showing you where to go. One of the
I love
things
that. Yeah.
in the relic hunt and in the datacron that I know we have to deal with, and we only have to deal with in the relic hunt and the datacron, is the exploding version of the cacti.
Yes.
I love that. I wish they were all over the place. I wish all the cacti explode, or like random ones would explode at random times, and you just walk too close to one, and it happens to be, ripe enough, and it explodes.
Right.
Kind of cool.
Yeah, I thought it was cool that they were exploding when I was going up that one path, but once I killed the guy who was my target up there, then they were like, "Okay, now we're normal cactus."
I guess when you get and start doing the datacron path, then they're a little more aggressive, and they're designed to knock you off the ledge and down to your death.
Yikes.
So have fun with that. That's a good one.
Whee!
Okay, so you do the world boss, you do the relic hunt, Now you've got the ability. Now you can go get the datacron, which is a nice datacron. I think is it 10 mastery? I think it's 10 mastery.
Yeah, I believe it's 10 mastery.
So it's it's a nice little datacron. That still leaves the 3 achievements. So they're, again, spoilerish here if you really want to not learn these secrets, but there are 3 secret achievements that you can go after. Start us off with leg day. Cal, describe to us leg day, because I think it's the easiest one, right?
Yeah, leg day is the easiest one. Essentially, all you need to do is head back to that main base, Shea Vizslar's base, and you have to skip the elevator. There's an elevator that you can take up and down between the top level where your shuttle is and the bottom level where the dailies are. You skip it, you go down to the bottom, you find that staircase, and you go all the way up to the top of the staircase, and you jump off and go back down to the bottom. And you run all the way back around the staircase, and you jump off and go back down to the bottom. And you just keep doing this over and over and over and over for
Hey,
enough
everyone.
time, and you'll get the achievement leg day.
Yes, I think it's 5 within a set period, but again, if you're not doing it quick enough, and that's why the recommendation is to jump down, uh, you won't get credit, so you might have to like keep doing it a few more times, or end up doing it like 10 times. But here you can see the video of Cal Cal doing it. Run to the top, make sure you're kind of healed up as much as you can be. Jump back down, keep your companion on heal, pop into your heal abilities while you're running back up. Uh, get back to the top. Pretty hilarious. Seems like a Matt Pusevich special in, in my mind. Matt.
Yeah.
Uh,
Is it the one thing you just got to be careful of is not hitting anything on the way down? Like, it did take me a few attempts at recording that slowed me down because I would bump on a middle section of the staircase or like not land specifically in the middle at the bottom.
okay,
And I think if you land somewhere else in the staircase, it just won't count that run through for going for the achievement.
got it.
Oh,
A great way, a tip if you want to make a smaller jump off of something is to turn around and step off backwards. So that may keep people from overshooting. And don't jump, walk off. Don't hit your space bar. So turn around and just hit S and just tap your S button just a little bit, and that's a fine way to take the smallest step off and then sort of be dropping straight down. Again, hopefully you're not clipping the near side. Okay, so that's leg day. What's the second one?
That would be Tyneback Tamer.
Yeah. Tell us about that one, because this now we're getting into the areas I haven't even looked at. Oh no, I did start getting this one a little bit, getting into this one a little bit, and I think I found is this where you use the pheromone thing? You start collecting. No, this is the overwrite
No,
Lambros,
pheromones
right?
are for the raid boss.
Okay, all right. So this is the Lambros.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us about this.
Yeah, so this is kind of similar to that little Flirin quest on Onderon. The
Mhm.
oh,
difference
right.
being on this one that you don't get a pet out of it. For this one, rather, there's a whole bunch of Lambro, exploding Lambro, kind of scattered all through the north and the east of Ruhnuk, and only one of them spawns in a region at a time. And in my guide, I've made images of all the different spawns and what the different regions are by color. And basically, you just have to find 3 of them before the buff runs out. And every time you find a Lambro, you click it, it pops open, a little Tyneback baby pops out, and you get a little buff for one of them. It has a time limit. And most importantly, enemies can actually attack the pet, unlike your player pets, which seem to have like no aggro at all, so they can't take
Right.
damage. These little babies can get AoE'd, they can get dotted, they sometimes will actually get attacked by enemies instead of you. Like you can be running past, turn around and go, oh, where's my pet? I'm on a mount. And you'll see it off in the distance with half of its hit points getting attacked by a Darmander.
Okay.
But essentially, all you need to do is you need to just go to all the different regions. I would suggest checking that the Lambro are spawned first because there's not many of them out there, and if one other person is doing the quest, it could stop
Right.
you, or
Sure.
you could even click a Lambro and stop the other person. So you just find 3, then go from one to the next, get all 3, and then the moment you click the third one, the achievement pops up.
Okay. Okay. So you just need to get all 3 before the buff of the first one fades away.
Yes.
Got it. But you don't get a little Tyneback pet? That's sad.
No. So the pets will follow you around even after the achievement, and if you want a pet, you can just go and click a Lambro again.
Oh, okay.
Uh, but
But
yeah,
you can't leave
they
the planet
last for as long as the
as long as
buff.
the buff. All right. Okay. And then there's one last one, which this is where we get to fight a little bit of a boss. Oh yeah, yeah, okay. And I came across this in the cave. So this is one of the maintenance ducts areas. They've gone up the ventilation shaft. It's one of the ventilation network ducts. There was a glowing rock. I clicked it. Nothing happened because I didn't have the stuff. So describe this one and then who you get to sort of fight for this last hidden achievement.
Yeah, so the final hidden achievement is called Raid Night, and essentially, while you're doing
Clever.
your relic hunt quests, you will wind up at some point in this special cave that has a clickable rock, and you click it and nothing happens. It says like no one reacts or there's distant rumbling, but nothing happens. So you need to find 2 items on Ruhnuk, or you can find one of them and somebody else can find the other one. As long as you're together near the rock, it actually works.
Okay.
You don't actually need to find both of them, which is great. But the 2 items are the pheromones and the dewback corpse. The pheromones are really, really, really common. They are a yellow inventory item, so not a mission item, not a quest item. They are a yellow item that goes into your normal inventory,
Yep.
and you're basically bound to get this as loot whenever you do the dailies. It's not guaranteed, but it is very common.
Yes, I have it sitting in my inventory on my
Yeah.
mercenary.
Yeah, the other item is the dewback corpse. It is much less common, if not quite rare, and you just need to continuously kill dewback in the waterworks and the eastern half of the map until you get that as a drop.
Okay. That
And
is,
yeah,
dewbacks are more rare across the map for one. I think the one of the places that you go to when you have to like kill mobs is one of the dailies. You have to kill, three flutterwings, three dewbacks, and three timebacks or whatever.
mhm.
One of the quick travel points has three dewbacks that spawn there, and they don't respawn all that fast. That seems like a bad place to sit there and try to farm this, because I've farmed those dewbacks multiple times for the mission, because you got to get drops off of them, dewback stakes or whatever, and they don't respawn very fast. So where did you say it on the other side of the map? There's more dewbacks.
Oh no, if you that would be the waterworks spawn point that you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
It, yeah, so if you head off of the ledge dead north and then up the valley north, there is a lot of dewbacks and a dewback champion, I think called a dewback matriarch, and that's like a
Okay. Okay.
bonus for one of the dailies.
Okay. All right. And I think I did go there to do one of the bonuses. I don't like the bonuses for any of those because it's like, I think you get 16K credits and that's it for doing a bonus. You don't get any rep. You don't get any nothing. Just get 16K credits. Well, who knows? With our new travel costs coming up, going to need that extra 16K. All right. This sounds like it will be more difficult to get. Say I get the dewback corpse and I get the powerful pheromones. I go down to the pit and then there's a blue glowing rock. Then what happens?
Yeah, it's actually a surprise codex entry, so just run ahead and click it. No, so when you click the rock, it is just like the world boss on Tatooine. You click an item on the ground, and what happens is it consumes the pheromones and the dewback corpse from your inventory, or if you've brought one and a friend's brought one, it will consume both of yours. And it spawns a whole bunch of little baby raids. I think about 6 or 10 of them. They're very easy to kill. And then it spawns to rocks once slumbering, which is a miniaturized, durable version of the Tatooine world boss.
Okay.
Pretty easy to knock out, doesn't do a lot of damage. I would say both easier to solo and has less hit points than the Kithral. So if you do get both items and you don't really have a guild or a community or no one in general chat is interested in helping you, don't be afraid to try this solo.
Still
You can
7.6
do it,
million hit points. I see your note
which
here.
is about 1 million more than a standardized dummy pass.
Right. Right, which
for
is 6
those that
million.
do pass on a dummy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite easy to kill. It is way less threatening versions of the Tatooine world boss's abilities.
Okay.
And once you kill them, you're given the legacy title Raid Boss.
Nice. So is Trapjaw a raid? Is that his species?
Yeah, so the name of their species, the big brown frogs, are called Raids with a W.
Yeah.
I believe they're from KOTOR 1.
Okay. I did not know that. That is good to know as well. All right. And then you've got hidden achievements. You get legacy title raid boss with a W, but clever. That is excellent. And that's all we know so far. I think there's still going to be something that we're going to get from Lane in the continuation of
I
the
do
little
too.
droid that she's working on. And who knows
Yeah.
if that's going to be like another pet or more quest or achievement or something coming there. But for now, I think this was good. They put a lot into this. There was a lot more that went into Ruhnuk that I even recognized at first. So I'm impressed with all the work they did. I like the relic hunt being sort of that puzzle you can actually go out and try to solve in an old school way. It's not just, kill 3 things and they're right there and I'm going to show you where they are. Just kill it. That right, kill it. There's plenty of those kind of quests in every game today. Having something where you need to puzzle something out is really cool and well designed. Any final comments that you have, Cal? What's your overall assessment of what they did here?
Yeah, I really enjoyed Ruhnuk. It feels much more like a refined version of the Manana Invasion Zone daily area, which also had power-ups that you can use and had
Yeah,
like
which I
a
did like.
spread out kind of map. Ruhnuk is also very spread out.
Yeah, yeah. Runuk's big. Seema, what's your assessment so far?
I
You're
just want to say,
jumping
I
in. You gonna
mean,
be diving
well,
in
yeah,
yet?
I'm definitely going to finish the Rolex quest and then do the data cron for sure. But my biggest takeaway tonight is, well, when Cal said he did this 4 times, at first I thought, "Oh, that's extreme." But then I realized, no, that's the life of a person who makes videos and guides.
Yes.
And this is one reason why we just talk about that.
Yes.
We don't actually do.
We let
I
other
mean,
people do the hard work.
it's a lot of work to put together and to do what you
That's a
do.
good point.
So I I just want you to know that I see that and I appreciate it.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah. Four times all the way through. And as you said, you're sort of like figuring it out, then you're taking pictures, then you're going through doing the videos, and then maybe you're doing leg day multiple times so that you can not be like killing yourself and like ruining a video. Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right. Well, I think this has been a really good run through. As we've said, I like Ruhnuk. As we also said, get in there on the PTS. It's wrapping up tomorrow. I'll try to get this podcast out, or I'll just do other tweets and news out and put it in our Discord, reminding people to try to get on there at 1:30 tomorrow on the PTS. So that's Friday the 17th at 1:30 p.m., probably until 5 p.m. Definitely around 1:30, there'll be queues popping for PvP for you to get the credit for getting onto the PTS and helping with the testing to get you an Opal Volptilla mount. So don't forget that. Also, don't forget to jump in our Discord and get involved in our contest because that's coming up too. So right now, before we kick our EPC 457 droid out in airlock, Cal, where can people find you and more of you?
Me and more of me. Great question. Aside from where I live, which I'm not gonna tell you, you can always find me at todayandtour.com. You can find me on Twitter at todayandtour, YouTube todayandtour, or my Discord. The 3 main ones are linked on the front of todayandtour.com.
Yep.
You can also find me in a variety of community servers and guilds. My DMs are open if you have any questions or need help with SWTOR.
We appreciate everything you've done, and as Seema said, yeah, we know it's hard work, so this is great stuff. And I like how you've put this stuff together, and the site's looking really, really good. So excellent. So I think with that, if you want to find any of our stuff, all the feed and subscribe links are on newoverlords.com and YouTube/newoverlords. You can also come chat with us in our Discord, which is newoverlords.com/Discord. And that's where the contest is running. That's where I think Cal comes and hangs out in there every once in a while as well. Follow on Twitter if you want the updates there, or on Instagram or on Facebook. At Max the Gray is in a lot of those places, and The New Overlords is where you can find us elsewhere on all of those feeds. At The New Overlords on Twitter is where the go live announcements go out on Twitter as well. We'll keep you up to date in all of those places too. For the Alea Yacht Guild on Starforge and in all the games that we play, check out aie-guild.org, and Discord link for our guild is in the upper right. Jump in there, and we would be happy to get you a guild invite. And with that, we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.